trying on. All right, we're live. We're live. My mouse disappeared.
No, this is cool. It's the first time I was on another show besides my own in a while. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, it's been 4 months now since I started doing this. Like, it started actually like a few days after Renetta passed. Rob did a show and like a panel as a tribute to her. And I guess that was like really my first time ever going online. One time before that, Rob threw me up on the screen for like 45 seconds, then my internet crashed. I didn't know I was going to be on the screen. I've been cleaning a house all day, and talk about like an adrenaline rush. Like, there's nothing like having stage fright and ending up on the main stage of the internet when you don't expect it to get your adrenaline going.
Exactly.
So I want to hear a little bit about what you were telling me yesterday with the voice note you sent me, if you want to talk about that. I thought that was really interesting, and I'm sure there was a lot more details. If you want to tell me about that, you can.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just looking to see if anyone's joined in or not yet with us.
Hello. Here, let me check my phone.
Yeah, I'm just looking at YouTube views.
Yeah, we'll give them a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah, I had quite a few people send me. Okay. I had like 7 or 8 people tell me they were going to be there. Sorry. So my friend Maya sent me some pictures last night. She's out in California, and she had like 15 ships show up over her house last night. And she actually got pictures of a couple of them, and you can see them, like their lights are on. And they were pretty close over her house. She says like a parade.
That's pretty cool.
I've only seen ships like twice. Sorry, I'm sending this out again.
Yeah, well,
I think you would really like my friend Maya. She does Reiki healing, and so she actually does that full time. She's like I think she's like a Reiki master, or she does some kind of healing with her hands. Not like a masseuse, but maybe it is a masseuse. I don't know. I've been told that's a derogatory term for people that are in the business of healing with their hands. So I don't even know what to call it now.
Yeah. No, me neither.
I got one person.
I should have got a pen and a notebook so in case we wanted to come back on anything.
Why don't you go grab one? We got a few minutes to let people show up. If you want to go and grab one, I can hold the space.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll be back. I just got to find I can never find my book.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Take your time.
Yeah, we're back just in 1 sec.
Okay, you're cool. I don't know who's watching. This says one person's watching, so hello. Thank you for being our one and only and our only one. I know this is kind of last minute. I got really sick last night. I've been really stressed out, and when I get stressed, I get ill. I was supposed to do a early morning show, and I'm gonna reschedule that one. Just haven't been really feeling it. You guys know I'm usually pretty high vibe, and it's just been kind of stressful lately. I'm gonna be moving. I don't know where I'm moving to. I know it's across state lines, and it's never fun when a relationship ends, and I've been in a relationship for the better part of a decade, and that's ended suddenly. So they always say when one door closes, another one opens, but change is never comfortable, right? I'm not certainly a fan of change, even if it is for the positive. I'm a creature of habit. I'm stuck in my ways, but I'll tell you the one thing that's been really helpful is having friends, having you guys. I was really isolated for almost 8 years. I didn't really have any friends, and it's really meant a lot to have you guys be there for me and support me. And I wish I had more than words to just express my gratitude, but it really means a lot. So I appreciate all that. Okay, good. You're
There,
back.
yeah,
I'm getting emotional.
yeah,
It's my makeup. It's that mascara. It's always in my eyes.
yeah. I found my pen and
So,
book just in case. We can always
okay,
come back to
good.
things if people join in after. We can come back on a little bit.
Yeah, and if anybody wants, we're gonna do some. Jay always channels, but we were talking about doing some energy scanning. If anyone's like going through anything and you want us to take a look at like your etheric body, just you can put a message in the chat. Hey, Jason. Whoa, we got a whole bunch of messages. Let's see. Whoa. Okay. Is it repeating on your end?
Yeah.
Do you know Jason?
No.
I don't know Jason either. Well, welcome, Jason. I don't know what the repeating of the messages is about, but we get your message. Got it. Loud and clear. Are you talking about Silicon Valley? You know, it's really interesting, you guys, is I talked to Jay just briefly about this. You guys know I do decodes, and I keep having this reoccurring theme show up with this red eye. I look at seals, and I look at people's communities and the architecture, and it's very apparent once you learn the language of symbols that those that are in the club use that and blatantly put it in our faces, whether we realize it or not. The subconscious picks up on it. And so this red eyeball keeps popping up everywhere. And one of the things I learned was that like the Lord of the Rings, right? Like they have it in the two towers, the Eye of Sauron. If you look at the logo for Disney's The Incredible, that's their logo. But I was looking at wall murals in Pittsburgh and in Boulder, Colorado, and it's all over their wall murals there. So when I was looking into this Lord of the Rings theme, Peter Thiel, who I believe purchased PayPal, has like 5 or 6 businesses, Jay, that he is named after Lord of the Rings. There was an article that one of the largest skyscrapers or buildings in San Francisco for Halloween, there was like a petition on change.org, like 10,000 people signed to have that tower turned into the Eye of Sauron for Halloween. But Silicon Valley is rampant with businesses named after Lord of the Rings. So
yeah,
I don't know. You're in the void a lot. You go to sleep and your dreams are as solid as this reality seems to us. Have you encountered this red eyeball?
No, I haven't.
Kelly, you know Kelly. She had a very interesting experience, and she's got it out on her channel where basically she was pulled out of her body during Lionsgate. So we know Lionsgate's like July 26th through August 12th of every year. She says she was pulled out of her body and she was in like a stained glass chapel, and that she looked over in the sky. Now she was walking next to this giant. That's all she could really had the reference for was a giant. She said, however tall she was, she is barely up to like the thigh on this thing. And she looked over in the sky and she saw this big red fiery eyeball. It looks like a dragon's eyeball or like a reptilian pupil. And there's a lot of people that have talked about this over the ages. I mean, there's many names for it. The demiurge by the Gnostics, Billy Carson refers to it, the all-seeing eye of Enlil. If you look up symbology for like the Order of the Odd Fellows, they've got red eyeballs, the hand with the eye in the Indian mysticisms. It's everywhere. And there's a blue eyeball too. And I'm starting to think it's connected with Metatron. They talk about like on the center of the earth, or Gartha. I don't know if that's like another dimension inside the earth, but they talk about like mechanical beings with consciousness. Um, I'm sure you've heard of that, at least some of that.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, a lot to everything, really.
Well, one of the other
Yeah.
things I ran into, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One of the other things I ran into was this repeating of this blue eyeball. And it started when I was looking into the patches for like the space launch mission patches. Every time they do a mission or every time they launch a satellite, they make a patch for the crew. And it's got like some kind of like motto or creed on there. It usually has the names of the astronauts that go, and some kind of like very vague description of what the mission was about. And the blue eyeball keeps coming back with this connection to like a kraken or a gigantic octopus. And so to draw on some of the writings from scripture, like one of the things they talk about is like the third of heaven that fell. And there was somebody who put it into a really good like frame of reference for me, Jay. They were talking about how like these would have been all different types of people, like geneticists or workers, even if they're in the heavenly realm, they all had jobs, right? And if they are in the realm of geneticists, like creating, species, you're going to have a lab, you're going to have lab partners. And maybe so by default of, guilty by association, there were those who fell or came down just because they were part of that team. And from what I understand is there's been like a holocaust that's occurred throughout the whole universe, not just on the 3D dimension, but in many dimensions. And there's been those that have been kind of like in the wings, like trying to see how this whole war is going to turn out between those that are in rebellion against Source. And I'm starting to think that like this blue eyeball is connected. I never say this word right, but the wheels, the ophanum, I think that's how you say it. Right? They call it the throne of God. I think that when we see these images of this red eyeball, which I thought was maybe connected to Metatron, that the blue eyeball might be connected to those who have fallen that are not mechanical, right? Like they say God designs his angels so that they were never meant to die. They're infinite. Well, how do you kill something that's never meant to die? Right? And they say that,
Mm-hmm.
some of these entities that they're operating in realms of the light spectrum that humans cannot see. We're pretty much blind. We only see about 1% of the light spectrum. So, they're operating in that realm. Well, they say that they've been, now when I say they, I mean, I'm going off a testimony of people that I've heard give accounts that have been parts of these, this dark club, and they've decided that they don't want to be part of it anymore. They've been able to get out without losing their life. I talked to all kinds of people, and the experiences that I've heard are that basically once they're illuminated or they're adepts, that basically they're able to see outside of their body, like how it's kind of described like in a near-death experience. Uh, Maybe you can talk a little bit about that because you are out of your body quite a lot. And is your vision different than the vision we have here in the body?
It's pretty much the same, except for sometimes when we get out, we're not seeing clearly. Our clarity is not as well, because some people go into sleep paralysis, and when they finally get out, it's kind of dark, or else they can hardly move. And that's what happened to me a lot. Then eventually I started, a lot of it's fear-based, right? So you don't know what's going on, but once you can start asking for clarity, the vision will start coming in more clear. Then you can see around your room the same way you can in your waking state. And a lot of
Wow.
times, depends on how we judge our astral. Like sometimes when we've got a body, we're on just the next plane step above here, where it's just as real as here. But if we can move our energy around, we can become less dense to walk through walls. And other times, everything feels solid to me. It just depends on how we come into that perception when we're out, right? So there's a lot of other beings that's on that first level of the astral, the earth plane, where it's just as real as here. There's beings that are out there and don't know they're there. They're in sleep time. They're out there having experiences, but they just can't remember, right? That's why I'm trying to help people connect to the Dreamtime societies, because a lot of our dreams operate within the first few realms of the astral, and sometimes we go higher, we go up to the angelic realms. Sometimes we're in the hell realms. Just there's a lot to it, right? So a lot of times I'm going to the first level of here, and it's pretty neat. Like it's weird
You
experiences.
know,
Sometimes when I'm
that's
out of body, I'll go to another timeline. Sometimes then I come back, right? Sometimes we can, while we forget what happens, there's times that we'll go out of body, then go into another timeline where life is existing somewhere else, but it's a little different. We're kind of like, holy shit, what's going on here? But then we get sucked into that timeline, into that other version that we are. Then we forget that we're there in dream state. Then our memory comes to get wiped, but we'll have the whole experience in another timeline. So if we can try to figure out how to bring those memories back, we can start picking up on our different versions of ourselves.
that's
Because we can get stuck,
fascinating.
for a first little bit, you'll like, well, what's going on? Why am I here? Why is this person still alive? Right? Like, could be a deceased parent or a relative, but longer you're there, it's like we mix with that other body of ourselves, and we forget that we're from this timeline. So we'll have a whole experience as that other person. And when they got, I was showing too, like, I don't know who they are, but there's this technology out there where people can go to other timelines. Maybe that's some SSP stuff too. I don't know. But when you go to other timelines through any kind of portals, you got to bring a reminder of yourself of who you are, because you'll get trapped in that timeline into that other person and not be able to come back to who you were, right?
How do you do that?
You'll lose
How do you
yourself in
bring a
that timeline.
reminder of who you are with you?
I'm thinking it's like kind of like having your own sigils,
Oh,
something you can pull out of your
really?
pocket, and it's just like a reminder.
So it's like a template almost.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but there is something that you carry with you when you go through, because you can get lost in that timeline, right? Sucked into it.
Couldn't even imagine that. Has this happened to you your whole life, or did this happen as like you got older and started doing like the qigong and stuff?
Well, I always had out of bodies and astral travel, but it's more so now. And yeah, I don't even like to use the word qigong anymore, but that's what opened me up to it more, because the stuff I'm bringing in is past that, right? So I just want to call it celestial energy work, because we're working with the celestial realms. I don't really want to give it a label as a modality like qigong or reiki or anything like that, because yeah, what's going on, like for reiki, other healing modalities, tarot cards, rune readings, astrology, numerology, they're all a part of the first level magic. You know what I mean? They're here for to us to access, but they're only on the first level of magic. And they work and they're real. I never, there's nothing bad about it. I'm always just trying to transcend above that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that's our first level of magic that we have access to here in this realm. Then when we want to connect to the astral and dreamtime societies, where we have the higher versions of ourselves, that's kind of like a level 2, where we can bring dreamtime societies to the waking world, so we can access true ultimate healing and whatever is what we want, right? Like we bring it from those other realms instead of being just conditioned to first level magic.
Wow. So what
Yeah,
is
it's interesting.
above that then?
Well, what I'm getting into now is connecting on the third level. It's where uh more connection to other beings, like the angelic realms, demons. Not all demons are bad, some are good. Sometimes the path to true enlightenment in our own divinity is taking the path that we were warned against, that we're told is evil, because demons all have their part in the hierarchy rules of keeping order, just like we have order here in this world. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
they're bad, right? They follow orders, or they're a part of an order system. Doesn't necessarily make them evil.
It's interesting you say that. Sorry, my nose is running. My friend Renetta Jones, who passed in April, and I didn't know her very long. I mean, I met her right before the new year last year. She talked about like she was not religious, but she was very spiritual, and she, like yourself, was constantly being pulled out of her body. Um, and she talked about like the Bible, right? Like I loved how she put it too. She'd say she wasn't one to overlook wisdom, right? Like she was not biased about, as long as there was good wisdom to be, taken away from it, she would take the wisdom and discard the bullshit. Excuse my language. Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry. But she always said like the Old Testament was accurate because it was written by Luciferians, but the New Testament was basically it was written so that people would manifest for those that were in the spirit realm. That's basically what we're creators in a way, and we're fractals of source. And so we have the ability to manifest in the physical from the sphere of availability. It's kind of what I call it, right? We pull things through with our intention. And she
Yeah.
talked about how that basically like she gave a whole breakdown on Genesis. Now this is an opinion, okay? So I just want to clarify, you guys, it's just opinions. She would say things like, she would break down like Genesis 1, where it's like in the beginning, right? And she's talking about like how the God of the Old Testament is Yahweh, and that actually that part of source that was here was a feminine, divine feminine spirit, and that she called it mommy water, which is part of the South African tradition of the consciousness, the name they've given the consciousness of the water. And basically what she said is that this wasn't a water planet, and that without this permission that was given to Yahweh, that land would have not risen out of the sea. And that basically there's been a hijacking going on where, Yahweh was a God king over Israel, and that he's basically gone off the ranch, so to speak, with his wanting to be a tyrannical, blood sacrifice worshipped God as the one and only source. And that's not at all how it is. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or not. I can keep going if you don't.
Yeah. No, I do. That's where a lot of my stuff's coming in right now to me. So yeah, I don't know what happened with all my astral travel and OBEs. The more I've been doing my celestial energy work, stuff I'm trying to teach people, but I'm not getting anyone interested because they're still stuck to the first level magic. They want to call themselves a master here in the mundane waking world. Makes them, you know what I mean though? Like a lot of people is claiming
Yeah.
to be something, but we're more than that. I'm not calling them bad because I learned Qigong. That's still first level magic that was brought to this realm as well, right? So just trying to more. Well, I've been asking for things. I had people told me that I was invoking evil spirits. I should stop what I'm doing, but I'm letting all information come in and just look at it with the sacred neutral point of view, right? Like my stuff's always changing. Like I said stuff in videos that I actually changed my thoughts on now. We can't get stuck in those belief systems or else we won't keep learning, right? So what I'm getting on the old myths are real. We're so focused on ET and disclosure that we're forgetting this Earth realm was here way before any ETs visited our Earth. Right?
I would agree. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Yeah.
Like
I think they're all just different names, right?
Yeah. Like we have the angels and the fallen angels. There's thousands of angels, right? So when I'm astral traveling to the angelic realms, I started actually accessing, I don't really want to call it magic, but accessing, I'm being shown different things like how to draw new runes and sigils in the air. They get shown in front of me as light so I can kind of draw it out.
Maybe you could tell people what that is, because I'm not exactly sure I know what a rune is. I mean, I have some ideas, but I don't want to make any assumptions.
Yeah, no, I just got into that. I didn't study this stuff yet. I don't know much about runes either. I'm gonna start looking into it. Because these other angelic beings, they don't speak technically through words. Because symbols have meaning to it, right? It's like invocation.
Yeah.
So it started happening more when I was going outside of the first 3 astral realms in out of bodies. I don't know, it's kind of strange what's going on with all this. But since then, I've been getting messages coming in from beings I didn't learn about. And I'm being taught not to learn about it because everything was part truth and distorted through time about certain beings, right? At the time of the presence that happened, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true for now.
Right.
So I can't, there's people that study books on angels and stuff, but I don't know what
Yeah,
truths are in
Jack
that or not.
Malay is one of those people.
So I don't know what truths are in that because my information's totally opposite of stuff that's been put out there for years. And I just put it
Well, I
out.
know they
grain of
invert
salt.
things, right? They take things and they twist it. So I can totally see that. I could totally see that. And we know they're shapeshifters. So sometimes we think we're
Well, yeah.
getting an angel, but we may not be getting a real angel. I could totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah. But I was showing that going out of body, going through the system, like I'm not seeing space. I'm not seeing space out there the way people are talking about. I don't even know if there is any. You know what I mean?
It's weird you say that. Aaron had an activation one night, like about a month ago, and he told me about it in the morning when I woke up, and he was saying that we're not even on a planet like we think we are. We're kind of like on a middle Earth, and that what we see as the sky is a complete fabrication. Is that kind of what you're getting?
Yeah, yeah.
It's fascinating.
Like more like, well, same thing. People say simulation or whatever you want to call it, right? But it's like a realm. People help the Firman. I see that as the end of the coding. But one of the times I was like trying to kind of traveling and just seeing what was out there, I seen like our atmosphere is bigger than what we think. And the moon and Mars and all those planets are still within our atmosphere on like a third level atmosphere. And then we have a lot of the stars are portals to other places as well. And I'll get into portals later because I don't know nothing about them. I just stuff that I'm seeing lately, right? But it's the same thing. Like people will say that the Pleiadians are flying here in craft and landing, or Andromedans or whatever. It's not. I don't think it's possible. I don't. A civilization from 6th density or the 6th frequency can get into a ship and fly here to the 3rd. You know when they talk
What
about
do you
secret
think
space
about
programs and all that.
this?
I don't think we can get into a spaceship and fly to Andromeda when it's a completely other universe on a different dimensional plane. Like we can't get in a 3D ship and fly there. So I think they're coming through portals, and I also think there's other beings that's masquerading as ETs. Same as some of the ones. There's, you know, we got the whatever you say, angels and demons and fallen angels. We got ones that are trying to help us to liberate us from this hierarchy from the false gods that you said Renetta talked about, right? The Yahweh.
Yeah.
So they're called the fallen ones, and they were trying to give us knowledge and power to defend ourselves, right? So that got told as, you know, that's why religious people say if you meditate or do yoga or qigong, the devil's going to get you. I mean, they're trying to fear us away from all that stuff.
They said the fork was evil too when they invented silverware and the piano. They were tools of the devil.
Well, I think there's like, I'll just say demonic beings, not saying evil. There is good and bad, right? They're all having their own fight with each other too, right? So
yeah.
But I think there's ones that are trying to keep us trapped here because we're powering, I'll say the simulation, but we're powering the dream worlds. Like our bodies are, we're actually more powerful than the angelic beings that don't come here to get trapped here. They do come here on Dreamtime societies because we have different levels of reality, right? To come into what they call it the waking world. Okay, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I'm thinking there's like entities that been here forever that are not showing themselves in true form. And what do I call it? They put their glamour on. They'll turn into a human, or they can turn themselves into a goddess, or turn themselves into another being and say they're Arcturian, kind of hiding what's really going on in this realm. So we think it's outside of here instead of beings that's here.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme with like Renetta had an experience where she worked at the UN and she was walking around the building one day and she says like really cold and windy out. So she kind of had like, you know, her sweater wrapped around her and she had her head down. Well, she came within about 10 or 13 feet of a very short man who tried to pull her soul out of her body, totally paralyzed her. And she said she saw his DNA appear in front of his face, almost like in Star Trek or Star Wars, you know, they put on those goggles and they all of a sudden have like all the AI appearing around them like a digital screen. And that's something I've heard over and over again is that if you are in an out of body state, that you can demand, like you're supposed to look into, I guess, their eyes, and you can demand that they show you their DNA and that it will appear. And that in that state, you're able to decipher or read this language. You know, Cosmic Voice, Cosmic Voice
Yeah.
33, that's in New Zealand. He's had experiences his whole life, and he's been taken with and without his body to what he says is on a craft. He said he was taken to something. Now he thinks it might be the seventh dimension of Earth, which they call Tara. But he said that like he was allowed to walk around this society and that it was like free energy and no pollution, and people were, you know, not obese, they were healthy, and that they looked very human like, and but their, you know, their clothing was different. And he said that one of the interactions he had with like a female was he basically was asked where he was from, and he was told, you know, oh, I've heard of Earth, right? Well, something that became very apparent to me in this conversation is that whenever they seem to take you, however it is they're taking you, whether that be with or without the body, there's some kind of like hiding or cloaking of how they remove you. It's almost like they don't want us to know how they're exiting the simulation or the construct with us. And I mean, I don't know. I've thought about it every day since he's told me this story. Like, it's really been like one of those things at night where I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about it. Like, maybe there's something there to that, right? It seems like whenever you hear these stories about near-death experiences, they really want you to go up this tunnel of light. It's like, you know, first you hear your loved ones calling, and then it always seems like you have multiple voices around you where they're trying to like just usher you in there, almost like a trap. And you know, I've stated this before. We're extensions, we're fractals of source. Why do we need to go through a gazillion lifetimes to learn lessons? I do believe that source wanted us to experience things, and I think there was some, you know, amnesia that accompanied that so we could have the experience of observing ourselves. But I do think joy and sorrow were meant to be experienced, but I don't think what's going on, torture, grief, the cannibalizing of the planet, fear mongering, I don't think that was source's intention at all. So I do think that's why, for me personally, I am a believer in the simulation theory. I think that when we're asleep, or when we're what they call deceased or dead, I think that's really our true version of ourselves. I think it's really here that we're not with our full faculties, right? We're meant to heal. We're meant to pull things through from our thought, like manifested in the physical. We're meant to be able to transcend with the body. And obviously, there's been some kind of resets that go on, and they put us into it's. These are all my opinions. Okay, guys, these are just, I want to state these are opinions. I think that they are putting us into some kind of a lower body frame where we are more and more cut off from our chakras, or more and more cut off from the source. And this whole thing about the metaverse and where we're heading, I think it's like we're kind of like in a video game, and now they want us in the video game inside the video game. I don't know if you ever think about that stuff, Jay, or if you have any thoughts on that. But
No, I do. You're right on that, and you're right too as well. There's a lot of rights in everything.
Thanks. Thanks. Everyone wants to be right. Thank you.
Well, we have reincarnation and the soul trap, and learn experience school. It's all true at the same time, side by side. A lot of us were trapped. Some were, you know what I mean, tricked. Some of us decided to come back. We already had those agreements made on the other side. Because a lot of us are here because this, like I call it, the waking world. They call this the waking world when we're in the Dreamtime societies. And we are powerful beings that we're powering the Dreamtime societies. So if I'll just say bad guys, because I don't know who they are taking over this earth, they will do the soul trap to keep certain people here, wiping their memories because they don't want us accessing their true divinity. And that's what I'm trying to teach through my healing course, is how we activate our own true divinity in this body. That's the blueprint of the soul that's already here and perfect. So the more they keep us down, we're just, you know what I mean? We get up and go to work every day, eat McDonald's. What do I call it? We're suffering. We're all suffering.
Yeah.
What's the message I got today? What was that? We're suffering without purpose.
I've felt that way in my life before too.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm just going through the motions.
Suffering without purpose, and we got to start activating our purpose and having our purpose of what we're what we're here for. Not I keep saying this all the time, not to be slaves and victimized like what's going on in the disclosure community all the time. And that's why my stuff falls on deaf ears, because people want that. They want the drama instead of what we can do for ourselves.
Yeah, I'm not into the trauma or the
And what
suffering.
Connor said here, Connor said
I
here,
agree.
our souls are divine, imperishable. There are beings around us. Yeah, no, yeah, it's totally true. And I call it, like I was talking earlier, like we're all working within like card decks for readings, astrology, numerology. That's all first level magic, right? We got to descend that. And through to my Qigong, I started channeling information how to go about that a little more, right? And it's to make it, it's not my course, it's not my program. You can turn it into your own however you want, because a lot of it's your thought process, right? The movements are just visualization using your imagination. Imagination, because it's magic realm.
Imagination.
Yeah, we're accessing higher magical realms. So yeah, there's a lot of truths to everything, right? Even the people that argue on got their own truths, because they might have been bringing back memories from one part of something they were involved with, and that would be a part of their truth, but it might not, isn't necessarily their whole truth going forward, because we operate in the past, here, and future, same time, right? So yeah, ever since I started getting the more, like I've been sleeping a lot lately. I shut my eyes, I'm dreaming as soon as I shut it. I'm not even sleeping yet. But I've been bringing things from the other side back here with me. Like I'm saying, I'm getting seeing new sigils, and the angels are calling them runes. Like they gave runes as a gift. So I'm starting to draw runes. There's ancient runes, but I'm
Yes.
starting to I'm drawing new runes. Then things will happen around me. They'll also bring in information, and they'll tell me who I'm communicating to. And I don't know. Like I said, I never studied all this stuff, so I don't know who's good and bad. But I've been picking up, like in the past, Azazel,
Azazel. Yeah.
Raziel, the main one, and Jophiel, Jophiel.
Yes. That's the one that's connected with animals, I think, right? Or nature. It's a female?
No, I wasn't getting a female.
I've seen her drawn as a female, but these are some of these are new names for me. I mean, these are just coming into my awareness just in the last week or two.
Yeah,
It's
maybe they can show
interesting you
themselves.
say that.
Well, they could show themselves as whatever they want, right? I was getting
Right.
the true, like if we seen Raziel in its true form, I was kind of getting glimpses of it. It won't show me. Like we can't handle the sight.
That's what I've heard.
So I think he cloaks himself a lot, and he has ancient runes drawn on his armor.
Wow. From what I understand, runes, like, 'cause they say those that are like in the Freemasons, like the 33 degree or higher. And from what I understand, there's 360 degrees, and that's all it has to do with is like having the 360-degree, like out of body view that they talk about, like in near death experiences. It's not just like the
Yeah,
peripheral vision.
yeah,
But from what I understand, they are basically shapes that draw down power. They hold power of sacred geometry in them based off of, they call them angels, but angles really. Um, it has to do with like the way that the lines go, that they are able to capture light and refract it in a way where it holds power. So that's what I understand is that there's runes all around us, but that most of us just can't see it.
yeah. I believe Toss talked about the curves and angles for
Oh, it did? Okay. I
when we're
didn't
trying to
know that.
escape this realm. Yeah. So with experiences lately was kind of nuts. I don't know what I told you the other day. I can't remember, because I was to the point where I got up and I was like, voice message. I was like, holy fuck, I gotta tell somebody this. I'm trying to remember what that was.
I can tell you what I remember. I remember you saying that you thought you were awake and that basically you could see what looked like a pink planet and that you were
Oh,
looking
that.
around. And as you looked around, there were like
Yeah.
millions upon millions of portals opening.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. This goes to Nibiru.
Yes,
I think
Nibiru.
because we're based on, we say frequencies or dimensions, whatever. I don't know really what, some people argue whether it's frequencies or in third dimension or the first dimension, third frequency. It really doesn't matter. Just
Yeah,
we're
the
on different
harmonic
frequencies.
universes. I can't keep them straight.
And how we use, like you said earlier, we only can see so much of the incoming light, right? So on the next level of the astral, where we're still in the earth plane, it's quite physical. This is the third time I've seen this now that Nibiru is here. Just we can't see it in this frequency.
Wow.
So what
That's
happened with me
interesting
was the
because,
other day,
they kept saying it was coming back.
yeah, I think it's just here, just not in the frequency that we view, because this is, like I said, I'm getting strong impressions of this. But how does this work? Oh, I got up in the morning, I woke up, and I went to go outside, have a smoke and a coffee. I thought I was awake, right? So I don't know if I had to smoke a coffee or not, but I just remember walking outside, and then I looked up, and I seen Nibiru in the sky. It was like, well, first it looked like the pink moon, but it was huge, like real big, and had different auras, different colors of red going all around. Took up half the sky.
Yeah.
Then I looked up, and our moon was over here. So I was like, holy shit. So I went in the house. I was going to wake the wife up and get her to come out and see it. And by the time I opened the door and come into the house, I sat up in my bed like I wasn't awake at all.
Wow.
But when I got up this time, I wasn't awake at all. I went to go up to the kitchen, then I got sucked back in my body again. So I wasn't even awake the second time. Then finally I got up and I was here again, right?
Wow. It makes me think of that movie, The Jacket, with Adrian Brody. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but it's having all these different experiences, and they're all out of body experiences, and it's kind of like the butterfly effect. He starts jumping timelines through the dream state.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of disclosure in movies, so I'm pretty sure they're telling us something, They want us all to think this is just all for children or it's evil, but they're certainly using it. Go ahead.
Well, I don't watch TV a lot, but I started watching a few series lately, and I binge watched them all, and they are talking and saying words I called things back in 2011. I'm like, what the
I'm
hell?
sure they use you. They use us all the time for that stuff. I mean, they talk about how The Simpsons is predicting the future, but what they're not saying is that this is information that they pulled off of children through the Gateway Project and Looking Glass, and then they turn around and sell it to Hollywood as, disclosure. They keep saying, when's disclosure going to happen? Well, this is it. It's happened. I mean, come on, you guys. Since September 11th, does it not feel like our reality is weirder than any movie you've seen?
Yeah,
We
it
got
is.
UFO hearings. We got freaking portals opening. We got shit flying around in the sky. We got, the Miami Mall that where the aliens appeared. I mean, Vegas. Did you see a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas, Jay, all those light poles and traffic poles that they had it on camera, just all of a sudden, boom, 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 down the street for miles. They all just bent, right? Like a frequency weapon hit them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, because we don't know what's going on here in this frequency, things that are happening, crossing timelines, things coming through. But I still think a lot of the ships are from here. They're not flying here from outer space because they can't.
Have you ever been on a
a
ship?
distant galaxy and coming here. I have.
Well, tell me everything.
Well, this is weird because this is very contradictory to what I say. That's what I mean.
Okay.
We don't know, right? I think there's too much
Okay.
to everything, right?
Yeah.
But I don't, because we're in this whatever 3D. I don't think we're getting Andromedans and Dracos flying through spaceships and flying to Earth because they can't. They're different frequency level beings, or dimensional, whatever. But I think there's portals that are used for that. So I think sometimes, the ship. I was on a ship, yeah. I was out of body, went to a different level of out of body, and got sucked to a portal, and I appeared on an Anunnaki ship. They were showing me a future timeline of Earth being hit by meteors and destroying things. That was a potential future timeline, but they told me that it weren't going to happen. We're all going to be safe, but that was a potential timeline that we were headed for one time.
That's interesting. Tom Horn talked about a meteor or an asteroid called Apophis, of all things, that was supposed to hit Earth like in the last year or two. I think that was the timeline set for that.
And the other out of body I had called sleeping a lot. I had a nap the other day and I went out of body again. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember them sometimes. But I was like flying and I was like laughing about it. And then I was like, okay. It was like these other beings were trying to show me how to bring that back into this reality from that Dreamtime society, how we can activate ourselves so we can fly here.
Wow. Do you think that's the whole point when we're asleep, is that these messages we're getting, we're supposed to be remembering to bring them through? Because there was a guy on Rob's show talking about how he fought through the dream state and he was being interrogated on the other side of it. And it
Possibly that's
makes me
how you have
wonder.
that. Yeah. The last one I had, sometimes I think I'm dead because I can't get back into my body.
How scary.
They're kind of, yeah, they're kind of freaky. But it was weird because I was like, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's weird you say that. I read this story about how if you don't go into the tunnel of light when you die and you just keep you have your intention set, right? That you can get out of this whatever the hell it is we're in that's a copycat. That once you get out of that the initial like love, the unconditional love you're being flooded with when you pass, that's part of the construct. And that once you get outside of that, you actually have the opposite feeling, and that you have to navigate through all that to get back into the original template that is source. And obviously, we're emotional creatures, right? Like we're so led by our emotions, and we're so like they talk about the reptilian brain, the flight or fight, right? I wonder if that's all by their design. Those that are Connor made a statement a few comments back about how we're in the world of the evil, or they talk about in the Bible like the principality of the prince of the power of air, that basically this has been a quarantined area and we're cordoned off here, and that that really it's all an illusion of what's really going on. And the more that I've gotten older and the more that I've experienced, suffering in my life, it does kind of feel like that, because I just don't think that we're meant to. My heart doesn't feel like this is authentic. Like my heart remembers something that was totally different than this place, and there wasn't suffering and there wasn't evil. It feels authentic to me. The memories, I've gotten emotional memory back. Sometimes I channel. It's really random. Sometimes I'll get a download. I don't know when it's going to happen. It happens just the one off. But I can sure tell when it's, I know that it's happening. I know this is not just me and my figment of my imagination. I can just tell by the way the information comes in that it's coming through my heart chakra. And usually I'll start vibrating really hard. Like the first time it happened, man, I felt like I was being pulled out of my body and I was fighting it. I did not want to be pulled out because of fear.
yeah, fear.
I think that's why I haven't experienced visuals so much, is because of fear. Not so much of, like I'll give you guys a good example. I was kind of a late bloomer in life, but like, I've done psychedelics. I did not do psychedelics till I was like in my late 20s, almost 30s, because I was so afraid I was going to have this like full-blown visual nightmare of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy trying to get me. And it turned out that once I got comfortable and I kind of went into it, it was a great experience. But I always get nervous when I do those things because just the one off, I'm going to have a bad trip, right? I've never had a bad trip. I've always actually, usually by the end of it, I want to do more. But it's just that hesitation of what's the worst thing my imagination's going to pull through.
Hmm.
I don't know where the fear comes from, but it definitely feels like it comes from the outside in a way,
Yeah.
So these portals you were seeing, could you see what was on the other side of them, or did they look like black holes?
No, they look like donut clouds.
Well, I like sprinkled donuts. I love donuts. They sound delicious.
Yeah, but
How
they're
do you
just like
come back through a portal? Like you talked about getting sucked into that one portal, like in that story you just told us. Like how did you get? Do you know how you got back through?
No, it's kind of like I black out. Like I black out.
We say that when we're dreaming, we're doing all kinds of things. We're flying around. We're meeting with our higher selves. We're meeting with our spirit guides. I always had really vivid dreams until February. And then after that experience I had, I stopped dreaming, Jay. Like, I mean, last night I had nightmares all night. It was freaking terrible. And you talk about like bringing things back from the dream state. Like ever since February, I wake up with like mystery bruises, or I'll wake up feeling like I've been in battle. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how like sore I am for days. Like lactic acid
Yeah.
built up in me, right? I know I sure as hell haven't been working out. Doesn't make any sense why I'm sore.
Oh, the same thing happens to me. So yesterday, I had an out of body, and I appeared back home, my house I grew up in, and I was driving up. Well, no, first I was driving up the road in one of the old vehicles my father had before he passed away. Then we drive home, and we get out of the car and go in the house. Then I just kind of remembered I shouldn't be in that timeline. It weren't real. It weren't this one, right? So I'm kind of like, okay, Dad, like, why the hell are you here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Like, why are you
That's weird.
still here? Like, he's looking at me strange. I'm like, okay, well, didn't you
Were you
die? You know what I
communicating?
mean? Well, I was physically in another timeline where the house I grew up at, and he was still alive, right? So I had a
Wow.
conversation, but then I got, like I was saying, if you can't remember who you were, I got sucked into actually having all my memories of that timeline. It was just another timeline where he didn't pass away, right? So then when I started realizing that it wasn't real, I was getting sucked back into this reality. So I went back into sleeping and sleep paralysis, and I couldn't wake up. So when I finally opened my eyes and woke up, I wasn't here. I was on the couch at my mother's house, on an old couch from about 20 years ago.
Wow.
So then I said, okay. So then when I tried to set up, I actually set up here back in this timeline. But this stuff has been making me really, like you were saying, sore. Like I've been sleeping all the time. I'm sore. I can hardly get through a day at work. I haven't been going to the gym ever since I started bringing this stuff through. I think it's just my body got to adapt to it or upgrade. That once this passes, I'll be able to bring this information in a little better, maybe. Like it's
I
alchemizing
can't
this
think of
energy,
anybody
alchemized.
who's healthier than you. Like, I mean, I know you eat really healthy. I mean, you go to the gym, like people change their clothes. Like you're always at the gym. So I know that if you haven't been going for 2 weeks, I think you said, I know it's because
Yeah,
you're really must be really drained from this. Feel like you
yeah.
need sleep from your sleep.
Well,
It's
since I
like coming home
started,
from vacation. I always say I need a vacation from vacation when I come home. I'm always tired from relaxing.
well, since I've becoming more awake in the astral travels and going to different levels of the astral travels and bringing stuff back. Like, well, the other day after I was telling you about that out of body I had, I was just walking through the kitchen, right, and I seen a full apparition of a human body walk into my bedroom.
So did you recognize them?
No, I just wave and say hello.
Come on. No, it's interesting you say that. You know, Vanna, the first time you and I ever did a show, you helped Vanna.
Yeah,
Vanna messaged me a couple weeks ago and she told me that she had the same experience. You know, that she gets attacked really bad. And she said she always hears the voices or things will move, but she never physically sees them. And one afternoon, like she said, like it was her living room. Somebody walked out of the bedroom, walked through the living room, like they were in the house. And she said it was a full apparition.
mhm.
And I don't know, things have gotten weird. Like the more that I do these shows, the more weird things happen in my life. Like I
Well,
had a portal open up under my bed.
what's happening?
Aaron went to Ohio.
It's not paranormal. People talk about things being the paranormal. It's not
Yeah.
paranormal. It's stuff that we have not been seeing for years. That's always been there. But the more that we can access the Dreamtime societies, I call bringing back. What we're doing, we're accessing other versions of our higher selves that we can connect to the one here that we've been cut off with, so we can start seeing more. Like once everyone starts seeing more, we're talking about the simulation. Wherever I see it pixelizing and falling down, and we see base reality for what it is, and everything that's been going on Earth always was going on here, like time, past, presence. You know what I mean? Like we can't see the certain frequencies, but I still think that we could
Do you
actually
see a
just
lot of
time.
pixelized realities? You see a lot of
What?
pixelized realities?
Yeah.
Like almost like the Lego movie? It's interesting you say that. The only reason, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. The only reason I say that is because my first interview I did with Rob with Raw Cloud Love One, he said that he was able to get all his memories back. And he said he went into like a one-dimensional pixelized reality that he was fighting with some being that has all of our memories there, you guys, like our memories of past lives. And he was able to get his memories back. And you're the second person I've ever heard talk about this pixelization. I almost wonder if that's the same realm he went into.
It could be. I still travel a lot of places. I don't know where they are, but.
Well, men never ask for directions, so go figure.
Yeah.
Ask for directions next time you're there, Jay. Just write it down, put it in your pocket, and bring it back.
So today I was having a nap again, and I have a coat that's hanging up on a coat hanger, and there's no wind in my room or nothing, and it just did a complete 180 spin right slow and stopped, and I had a feeling that something's in the room. So anyway, I just looked at it and said, okay, that's pretty neat. So I said, okay, there's no wind in here. It's not moving anymore. I was just checking my emails and stuff, so I waited for about half an hour. So I looked back at the coat, and I said, okay, can you spin in the opposite direction? Then it did. It did another 180 in the opposite direction as soon as I asked it.
This has been happening in my bedroom.
And when I get up to go to the bathroom, one of the kids' stickers was sitting on the shelf, and the sticker flew off the shelf and went up and stuck to the door.
I have these hooks that go over. I'm looking at my door right here in my office. I have these hooks that go over my door in my bedroom. I have them on almost all the doors. You know, I hang my backpacks on them. I hang my sweaters and stuff. And I had to move the one in my bedroom because I'm afraid of the dark. And at night, it was creeping the ever living out of me, Jay. And it started moving one night. And I'm not the only one who noticed this. Aaron noticed it. Aaron was seeing shadow people in the house during the day.
Yeah.
It did not feel good. Not too long after that, I had a reading done on me, and they said that I had like alien tech around my neck. I had like a tentacle going into my solar plexus. They said there's a big red eyeball of all things like above my bed. And the portal that was open, that like I had men's underwear coming out of it. Mark doused that for me, and he said it was SSP, that they were sending me a message. They were letting me know they could get to me.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good. You know, I always feel like I have a lot of positive energy around me. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm a naturally happy-go-lucky person. It wasn't since I did that decode on Pittsburgh and I saw that big, gigantic freaking snake in the grid that, I mean, I get pain on me all the time now. I feel like there's something biting me. I get freaked out in my house. The energy doesn't feel good anymore. And I've done all kinds of things. Like I bought a bunch of like frankincense that's like rocks almost. And I light it and I smoke and smudge the house out all the time now. But
right.
I don't know. I think it's the house I'm in. I don't think it's good energy here.
I think too, there's a lot of beings that we would consider demonic. Like demons don't mean bad. That was turned to bad. It meant daemon, right? Like I said, they follow a hierarchy order as well, along with the angels. This goes back to our false gods of the archons as well, right? So we do have the ones that rebelled against them, what we call fallen angels, or control the bad, and a legion of demons that are here in Earth realm that are necessarily not bad. Of course, we got bad ones too. We got ones that were invoked and working with ones that want to keep us down. I think they can shape shift to present themselves as reptilians when they're more of a demonic being, really.
Yeah, I think that.
Way,
I think the reptilians are just fallen seraphim.
It keeps us from knowing what's going on here and what we really are. Because if we keep sitting back thinking it's going to be ET race save us in the whole disclosure movement, like I think that's false.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you said you were talking about like interdimensional and like we can't really leave the construct and stuff. I think they have all these labels and names like, you know, extraterrestrial, interdimensional. I was thinking about this the other day. I think it's just parts of the light spectrum that we just can't see. And they're just coming from one to the other, right? Like you and I, we can see each other. We look physical. But I totally believe that we're conscious, infinite beings. I don't think when we die that's it. There's just nothing. It certainly doesn't seem to be the case with, like, I know Dr. John Mack did that study at Harvard that went on for decades, but with past lives and people with near-death experiences and things they remembered from a past life that they shouldn't know. I think really all it is that we just can't see it. And I saw this fascinating infographic. I got to send it to you after this, Jay, if I can find it. it was talking about like the light bringer, right? Like the title of light bringer. It had something to do with the way the eyes actually perceive vision. And we know our brain works like a holographic projector, right? I wonder if that's what they mean by like the light bringer, is that we somehow ended up in a bit like even in the Apocrypha, like they talk about like Adam and Eve when they were thrown out of the garden and they couldn't walk. I wonder if that's it, because they went from being like bodies of light to being in a body, physical body, and they just didn't know how to operate it. It was completely foreign. You know, they even talk
Yeah.
about like how they were naked, right? And they're trying to clothe themselves. Like if you had never had a body before, you had been a body of light, you wouldn't have even felt naked. So something obviously was a massive shift there in the way they perceive themselves and the way that they, you know, their locomotion, the way they moved about, their mobility. It was obviously something that happened so suddenly that it makes me wonder, was that them going into a body itself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I believe that.
What do
As
you
well,
think
no,
about? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I don't know where I was going with that yet.
What do you think about this like theory of there are those here that are fallen and there are those that have come here? They talk, all right, so let me be clear. They talk about the angelic human race. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about those that have come intentionally on this timeline at this time from a heavenly realm to be part of. I think there's a battle going on, a battle in the spiritual. And maybe we don't see it, but I know we've felt it. There's things we've all experienced that don't make sense, right? Do you think that that's possible?
No, it is.
Yeah, I've
We
been
just
told
forgot
I'm
we
an
have
angel seed. I don't even know what the heck that means, but
well, we just forgot we have wings, right?
that's what I've been told. I've been told I have some big wings. I've been told they go up above my head all the way to the floor.
You're gonna remember too, if we incarnated here, I'm just gonna say whatever people believe in, whether star seed or angelic human or soul shard of our higher selves, we still had to go through the amnesia process, right, to get here because of the grid that's on Earth. But now I think the new
Yeah,
kids coming in, well, new kids are coming to full memories of
that
it. I
seems
think
to be
that
part
grid's
of it.
down, but we have to do the self work to activate ourselves, and I preach on that all the time, and we're not doing it, and I've been neglecting it myself because you got to put time for it.
They do want to keep us
You know what I
busy,
mean?
right? They want to keep us busy with the rat race of trying to
Yeah,
make ends meet. Yeah,
yeah. What I was saying,
I
like our
hate that.
bodies, we should be able to invoke our angelic or higher self powers now. But what's happening is our our bodies are too toxic to allow those energies to come in, and that's why they're doing it to us, because they don't want us to access that. And that's from
I've
being
heard that
forced
too.
forced cannibalism. You know what I mean? Like eating McDonald's and stuff. Like McDonald's, the McDonald's sign is a sigil from a not good demon. It's a
That's
part of a sigil.
interesting.
I
I
don't
didn't
know
know
what it's called.
McDonald's was, but I'm not surprised one bit. Do you know
Isn't it
which one?
I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know what it is, but the word I got was Sandalphon. I don't know what
Sandoval?
that is.
No, I know
What?
which one I've heard of this one. Yeah. It's like Sandoval or AL or something like that.
Yeah, it was a weird
Hey,
word like
Anchor
that. Yeah.
Haven.
Yeah, it was a weird word like that. So like McDonald's is actually a sigil, part of a sigil connected to that.
Hey,
Because I said there's good and bad demons, right? So then we got the ones that are keeping us that way. Same as when you're doing your decodes and we got flags and coat of arms, like when people pledge allegiance to the flag of the country, they're giving their energy away and agreeing to be slaves, right? As a part of
I
that
didn't even
system.
think of that. Yeah, I love this. I'm fascinated with words, like the etymology or the breakdown of certain words. Like I was even thinking about this yesterday. Like I was writing, so I am doing a decode group next Saturday, and one of the things I want to teach is about logos. Well, I was thinking about even the word logos, right? Like if you think about the law of one material, right? What's the logos? It's like the consciousness or the first thought form. Like so they've literally taken every freaking word and turned it into some kind of inversion. Like you say the
Yeah.
imagination, right?
So what I'm saying, like, oh, we can't invoke our higher angelic beings or our some of these angel beings are part of our soul family, right? We can't invoke them into us because our bodies ain't pure and it's being forced upon us, right? So that's why I said I don't like to call my stuff qigong because what I'm teaching people is how to use their imagination to do these things. So the more that we have our, like I always said, our body is the ultimate blueprint design of the soul, right? The ultimate avatar of the multiverse. So if we're keeping our meridians clear, that's part of qigong, which is important. I said all of it is qigong, reiki, all of it's important, but that's first level magic. I'm gonna go back on that again because qigong, reiki, tarot cards, ancient runes, astrology, numerology, that's all first level magic, and that's here for us to use within this realm, right? But we got to progress past that. So if we and our organs are actually portals, as I said, once say we're eating bad foods or negative emotions, our kidneys might steal energy from the heart, and the heart steals energy from the spleen, then we start getting sick because then we got disharmony within the kingdom because we are the kingdom of God in this vessel. So when we start doing those things, that clears out our portals, our organs, which are our portals. They start working properly. Like our spleen, I always say, is the gateway to the astral world. Once we do the energy work that's within ourselves to keep our organs healthy and what they're meant for, right? Then we're bringing that sunlight in to our bodies. The sun helps us connect the Dreamtime societies. We'll have more astral travels and remember our dreams, brings things back through and more acknowledged messages from our higher self and our own guides. Because a lot of us, when we get into spiritual work, we're trying to call on all these archangels and stuff. When we have a local guide that's right with us all the time, we're like bypassing that local guide that we have. So this isn't just about like qigong energy healing. This is connecting to your higher self. You know what I mean? Because there's things I'll do with how I say and how I present what I want to do. Right? We're bringing that into existence through second level magic. Then we can go on to third level magic. So if we're keeping, I see BJ Cass put a post today about our kidneys, and I'm like, yeah, our kidneys is a life force energy. So if we're eating bad and all that stuff, everything that they're doing to us, forced upon us, we're getting low kidney energy, then our wattage runs low, they're keeping us sick, and we're not going to activate our DNA cells for any of our upgrades because we're running on low wattage. So it's more than just learning about spirituality and reading old texts and thinking you know everything. It's now we're going to work within our own divinity. And that's what I've been trying to put out for over 20 years. You know what I mean? So when you start working with that, you start noticing the difference. Like when I got my course thing on there, once you start going through them all, you're going to notice that you're activating all those portals in the body, getting rid of all the toxins, right? You don't have to fasting and all that stuff is great, but if we can do like an energy detox on ourselves, right? Because what is it? One of the words was when you're talking about God, like excuse them, Father, for they not know what they do. No
Yeah,
weapons.
forgive them, Father,
Yeah,
for
no
they know
weapons
not
formed.
what they do.
So we can also say, yeah, they're spraying us. It's in our bad food, but I can also say, you know what? No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Start doing some clearing, getting that out of your quantum
Oh,
realm.
right. That's good
I'm
too.
doing that. So you should be working on that stuff almost every day, right? So the more I was doing that, that's the more Dreamtime Society channel and stuff that started coming into me. And the goal is not for us to do this for other people. Yes, we can be healers in this time because not everyone's going to learn it. What I call it, the mundanes of the waking world don't even believe in this stuff, right? So the ones that are into it, like me, you, Anchor Haven, and others, we will be like the healers and teachers of the new world, right? To teach them how to access for themselves because people are going to need a lot of clearing and a lot of they ain't even just people don't want to think about the woohoo stuff. It's kind of like it's going to shatter their reality, right? The ones that don't believe in any of this. And that's my goal. And I don't even know what to do with myself. Like I'm walking around this world, like I know there's something I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not doing it.
I feel
So
that way too.
I
I
don't even want to
do.
go to work. I don't want to do anything right now. I'm just like, oh, there's something here. I just don't know
I feel
what
the
to do with.
same way. I do. I've talked to other people about this that have had experiences where they feel like they've been taken off world or where somewhere other than here, right? And then they're brought back, and for like a couple weeks they're walking around like in this state of almost like shock. Like it's like the color gets taken out of their world, right? Like you're at the grocery store and people are just going about their business like everything's normal, and you're standing there like, how am I supposed to go back and fall back into this, normal like routine when I've had this spiritual experience, this going somewhere else or going in a craft or going to a planet where there isn't this havoc. Like, that's going to happen to me. Like, I've been really open about this that, I'm a recovering heroin addict. Like for 2 years after I got clean, I was incredibly depressed. I didn't care about living. It was like I had no passion or zest for life because I felt so good with the drugs. And then it was like my brain had stopped producing its own dopamine, is what had happened. That's what happens with opioids, right? Like it forges new pathways to the reward and the pleasure center of the brain. Your brain stops naturally producing oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. So you're reliant on this drug to do something that the brain gives you so that you have stamina, that you have, that you have some kind of drive. All of that kind of went away in February when I had that experience. I feel like I got a reset, a do-over.
Yeah.
But I can
So the things that
imagine how that feels for you. Like I feel that way. Like I don't want to go out and get
yeah
a job in the real. I mean, like I have a real job. I work for the VA, but I get to work at home. Well, that's about to end, and I don't want to go back to some dead end job. I don't want to go and start over again. I want to do this. I want to help people heal. I want to teach classes. I want to connect with others. I want to learn. It's really hard to, once you've had a taste of this, it's really hard to go back to the 9 to 5.
yeah
I'm
yeah
going to do whatever I have to
well, I think
survive,
we
but I'm
can
not
use it
happy about it.
we can yeah, we can use our thoughts a little different too. We can use our 9 to 5 as a means to an end too, right? Instead of being depressed about it, but use it as a means to an end to get by until we figure out what we're gonna do, follow our own passions and work towards that. But we're always so busy with worrying about our bills that we don't do that, and that's how they're keeping us trapped as well. And I feel the same as you. I came here for something else, but I'm not doing it. I'm on 20 years of not getting no interest in anything I do, right? And the messages are so strong. I'm not just someone who took a course and says, okay, this is the way it is. I'm like, no, I'm getting new information every day, every night. My things are always changing. And it's all about trying to get people to do it for them, learn how to activate themselves, really, right? Even though I don't want to do readings for people, but sometimes I get such strong impressions. I think maybe I should be doing them too, but tell people to take
You
it with a grain of
should.
salt and do with it what they
I
will. Like, I'm not here to tell them, I think, what regular readings are, because I have people don't. It's just basically
I
what I'm
started doing
telling them.
readings too. I'm actually designing my own Oracle deck set now. I did a read. Anchor Haven invited me to a group on the fly, and I did readings for like, I don't know, 9 people, and really good feedback. It was really exciting for me. I never thought I could do something like that, but I'm definitely an intuitive person, and I was connecting energetically with these people. But I think it's because I think you have connected like through the discipline of Qigong to something higher, right? You've unlocked the dream state where it's much more physical and vibrant than it is here on this side. So
Yeah,
why would
that's
you not
true.
want to keep going up? I don't blame you.
I always had that astral connection even before Qigong, but Qigong helped me clear my body out with open activations, right? But then I started channeling different versions of it. It's like my own version of, it's mostly just our thoughts, right? What we're doing. So it's yeah, I don't really want to call it a modality in its own. It's just learning spiritual self mastery, right? To be your own master. I'm gonna go back to what you said about learning the cards, oracles. Yeah, like I said, tarot, numerology, astrology is all first level magic, and it's meant for here, right? So it does help people a lot. That's why people like you and Anchor Haven and people that do them they're already connected to the divine anyway. So the cards help really channel information of who they're working on. In the same time, I used to do numerology. I found my numerology I did on people was really good, and I kind of get out of that. But the more we learn and activate ourselves, we will transcend from systems,
That's interesting.
systems and modalities. We're going to transcend to the higher realms. So that's why I said that's called first level magic. And I think from me going to the other astral realms and bringing stuff back to the Dreamtime societies, it's I was shown that that was second level magic. But the stuff I'm getting now, like drawing new runes and sigils and getting things coming in, I'm not sure what that is. So it really, a person could say you're fucking crazy, and that's a mental health issue. You know what I mean? So the only
Yeah,
people
I
I
don't think
talk to
mental
about it,
health is at all what they said it was. Like schizophrenia, like I think that's just
like
voice to skull now.
like I don't go down the road and talk to my friends like this. I play in a rock
Yeah,
band.
no,
I
I
go to
don't
do
talk.
the
Yeah, I can't
once.
talk like this to my family either. I can only talk to you guys like this. My family, they
It's
think I
kind of
should be
called like,
committed.
but I do put seeds out, and I will find some people that are awakened. Then you can talk to them. So I've been finding that lately. So it's kind of like we got to operate in two worlds at once, right? Like when I go out, I call it walking out in the waking world. Bring in, because on the other side, I was shown that I was a, when we were saying void walker, the walker of dreams. Um, my name was the Celestian, the dream of the endless. And a lot of times I'll tap in, I'll go into other people's dimensional spaces. Like you could be dreaming your own dream, and I could access that, walk into what you created.
I wanted to tell you this last time, and I'm so glad you said that again. So you know, I've had this obsession with like the constellation triangulum, which is a 3-star system where it's like um Elohim, the tree of life, and the other one's like EA, right? Um, and they say that's if you get there, that's where the throne of God is. Well, my friend Sarah, the one that did the group with us, you and I, about a month and a half back, and she was talking about like the great grandmother spider and like the wombiverse energy. She
Yeah.
was telling me that she looked into the mythology of Triangulum, and one of the mythologies is about this celestial general that like protected the star life there. And so when you said that about like your name was the celestial, it instantly took my mind to that mythology. And I just want to let you know, I know that the myths are real.
Mm.
That woman that I reference all the time, Jessie Zavoter, the one that was part of she was a mother of darkness. She's part of the Illuminati, and she got out, and now she has dedicated her life to exposing the system. She said that they take things like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Alice in Wonderland. These are all myths that go back to original true stories, and they have now inverted it where it's part of like MK Ultra mind, mind control, basically, that we all have. And like basically, if you're human, you are targeted. Your genetics are that of a desire to those that are, in this negative group. Um, she basically said that they use all that in code words. Penny Bradley speaks about it, and she puts it beautifully. She talks about like activation words and go words. And the best example I can give you guys is there was a speech that Joe Biden, for those who are out of country, it's the president that was the past president of the United States before Trump got back in office. He's giving a speech, and he's got like, he's at this podium, and there's all these people around him, and you see this like handler come up and like squeeze his arm. And when they squeeze his arm, he instantly goes into like a paralysis and he's unable to speak, right? I could not watch Joe Biden hardly give a speech the 4 years that he was in office. I mean, it was just like watching a car wreck happen. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to make fun of the president. I'm sure it's a hard job. It's one I couldn't do. But we didn't have anyone who was eating crayons that day that we couldn't have put up on the podium. Like, it was just such a shit show. It was such a shit show to watch. But it was very clear to me then that they definitely had a handler on him, right? And then, like, one of the last days he was in office, they have him walking out from some, government building with his wife, Jill Biden, and he's grown 7 inches overnight somehow. Like, it's obviously not the same person. So,
No,
sorry, I know that was an over the river and through the woods story about the celestial guardian or general of Triangulum, but
yeah.
I think you're onto something with that, Jay. And
Well,
then it'll come through with time too.
And a lot of the people that we call NPCs or automatons, some of them
I
actually
don't understand what NPCs are. Is that like you don't have a soul? Like you're a container?
Well, I don't even like to use that word either. Some people say they're just inserts, but there's people that are born here basically without a soul, but they're just, the consciousness is just running on like universal hive mind or on the lower.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I see imagery for that everywhere. The beehive.
Like they're conscious, they think, they follow rule and order, but they have no inner monologue.
That's what happened to Vanna. They took her inner monologue. You remember that? She had an inner monologue and they took it.
Like, say, when I said demons and angels, and there's good demons and bad demons, a lot of people can almost be hijacked by demonic entities to function in the physical body here, right? The soul hasn't. I don't know how to explain it. I can almost see them in
No, it
people.
makes sense. Well, I think that there is a balance, right? There are those that even though we might look at them as scary or evil, they obviously have their purpose.
Yeah.
I certainly don't have all the answers. I mean, I've got theories and opinions. That's why, I tell you guys, like, these are just opinions. There's things
Yeah.
that I've experienced that, I think I've got figured out. And then years later, randomly a conversation will happen and all of a sudden there's context there. And it means something totally different than I thought. What I've been told is that part of the reason that we're going through this right now is that those that are fallen, we're supposed to bring them back to source, that we're supposed to help them find their way back. And, I can't tell you guys, like, I mean, it's kind of funny now to think about it. I wanted to be a nun when I was 18, right? Like I was really intrigued by religion. I was intrigued how people could feel the way they do about their faith, because I went to church and God, I sure try, but I didn't feel the way that other people describe feeling it in church. I had those connections, but they weren't in church. That's where they weren't happening for me at. They're happening to me in other ways. Now I kind of wonder if I was experiencing it that way because that wasn't authentic. That wasn't the real Church of God. Even the story of, like, they talk about Yeshua, or that he wasn't hanging out in churches. He was hanging out with the degenerates of society, that he cared more about the prostitutes and those that had fallen away coming back into, remembrance with source than those that walked around like their shit didn't stink. I don't know.
That was for that current time. We're all supposed to have that embodiment within us all now, right? So
yeah, I think Connor mentioned something to me too one day, like, because I come from my mother's side of the family, very devout Catholics as well. And I know Connor's a devout Catholic. There's obviously something going on with the Catholic Church and the way that they worship, the way that they practice, the way they carry themselves, that they obviously have some kind of secrets or knowledge that they've kept from the rest of us. Even if they've inverted it, there's obviously something there with that. Have you guys heard this story about these portraits that line the basilica? I think it's like St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. And there's one portrait left, and the image is starting to become clear on the portrait. And when it does, that's supposed to be the fall of the Vatican. That's supposed to be like the end times. I've only seen one clip on it, but yeah, I'm definitely not a nun. I don't want none. Oh, that's Jen. Hi, Jen. I don't want none.
oh, she said.
Oh, you thought about it too? Yeah, it's interesting.
No. She said she was
This
just
is
commenting on
Chapel.
you.
Thank you, Connor.
No, she would comment on that about you. Never mind.
Hey, Jen, I'm moving back to Oklahoma, and I might be going to Oklahoma City. So if you know of any houses for rent, let me know. I'm having a hard time finding a place. Okay.
So in another one of my out of bodies, I was showing different realms, right? So I went out past our realm, and we have what they called the first astral, second astral level, then the angelic astral realm. Then there was, like, above here, it was still kind of like what I've seen as archons, the false gods of our realm. And above here, I was seeing a being in a cloak who called himself Father Time, and he was governing all the planets within our solar system. That was weird.
Yeah, it's interesting too about this. They've definitely kept up their traditions for thousands of years, right? So you got to wonder if they're still doing it to this day, what they know that the rest of us don't know. But I do think, though, that there are those of us that have these experiences that circumnavigate their ability to hide or suppress information, and then that ends up coming out one way or another.
Yeah,
2,000 years. Yeah.
but this other realm, there was a realm where Father Time was, and he was governing all the planets within our solar system, right? And I don't know how that works with our construct, really. Weren't really shown that. But I might
What do
get
you
information on that. I might get information on it later because I shouldn't have been shown that and then just not told nothing, so it might come back to me. But I was showing like we have our first level of heaven. This is where a lot of the hierarchy goes. Then we go past like where Father Time was in space, and we had a second level realm, which was like what people say, like clouds and people walking on clouds. And that's where I seen a war going on with angelic beings fighting each other. Like a huge war going on that realm. And in this
Wow.
realm, there was we're all there as and even higher than the archangels, of course, because they're kind of like come from the archons, but we were kind of angelic beings on this realm, and we were kind of getting bored and decided to come here, and or else decided to come down here for what's going on now. But there was also the being like there was babies with wings there, like angelic babies, like
like
whole
cherubs? They're called
yeah, and it was
cherubs,
like
not
mountains.
cherubim, but cherubs. Yeah.
It was like the ground was made of clouds, but then there was like spots where there weren't none. There was like mountains and trees and just a whole other realm. And when I was talking to beings there, and someone said, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time." And like we have the Archon thing going on here, but even these higher beings outside of that realm, they don't even know who God is. You know what I mean? Source is endless, and it goes
Yeah.
on and on and on. They don't know either. They don't know who God is either. But they can act as creator gods themselves because they have divine powers, right? But they don't know. They know they got another higher connection of higher selves out there as well, and they're trying to figure it out as we are
Do
trying
you
to figure out
think
who our
it's
higher selves
have you
are.
seen the Matrix movies, Jay?
Oh yeah,
Have you seen the Matrix? Okay, you know that like this I think it's the second or third Matrix movie, they show those pods, right? It's like all dark and thunders, crashing from the sky. And Connor, it's good to see you too. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have a good day, Connor.
he said he had new
Um,
information about the gods. He said he had new information about the gods and stuff. So yeah, maybe we should bring him on to discuss that, right? I like hearing
yeah,
people's
I would like
I
that.
like
I'm
this.
supposed to do a decode show with him on heraldry before I move. So I'm trying to do as many shows as I can because once I move, I'm not gonna be able to do
And I
this
keep
anymore.
talking about I'm always talking about what we should be doing, the information I'm bringing back for ourselves, to activate ourselves, and what. But that's why I don't get no interest because the whole community of wanting to be famous, it's all SSP, it's all trauma victim target individuals arguing on which ET is going to save us. And that's why I stay away from that. Like people want to get involved in that, they can. But I think we need our own community of self empowerment and realizing our own divinity.
I like that. Yeah, I'm all
Even
for being
though,
positive.
even though the other stuff is going on, but we don't need to give it the power and invest our power and suck the energy out of us in that, right?
I totally agree. I think there's a lot of solutions. Like, I do the decodes and I do talk about like I think how can you protect yourself if you don't know who your enemy is, right? Like you don't know what you're up against. Um, but that's the only reason that I start to talk about it is so that we can get to the solutions. Like I do think ultimately we are the ones that wield the power. Um, I believe that we're in a free will realm. So there is manipulation that goes on to try to get us to, whether knowingly or not, agree to things. But I always use that analogy. If you know there's a trap, you can't be tricked, right? Like the trap's there, you know how to avoid it. But I think you're right. I think that it's important to be positive.
Not even just that.
Yeah, I'm
We're
excited about the
here.
heraldry.
Yeah.
Connor's like very well versed in the heraldry. He understands the coat of arms. He understands the lineages. He understands I don't know how he remembers all the freaking dates. I mean, it's like
I think
learning
this.
algebra and you've never seen numbers before.
Yeah. He says up to
But
you,
I
but I
like
think
that
we meant.
idea.
But I think we can bring him on for a separate show. That way we can generate our
Yeah,
energy
yeah, I
towards.
know he has to go right now. He said anyways, and actually we're almost
Yeah.
at an
No,
hour and a half,
that would
so
be
I'm
a.
gonna have to go soon too.
So yeah. No, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with stuff that's coming in because I'll get a picture. Like I can sit down here and draw an ancient rune, and then I can get the information on it. What
It almost
that's
reminds me of
coming
the
out.
infinity symbol. that you're drawing there?
Well, it's like I'm getting new sigils. Tell me what to bring in, or else what this rune is for. If it's connected, this rune could be connected to a person that wants me to pick up information. Then I'll see an energy grid within their thing. So we have energy grids around us. Like I'll see a block here and I move it over. That block could be stopping this path of that person's abundance coming in, even though they try everything they can, but they got to, or here, I'll have to move this over here. It's in the wrong spot. In the quantum realm, this energy is all mixed up. You want to move things around, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
I
fixing
totally
that.
agree.
So it's like I'm fixing that energy field.
When you wake up, do you ever try to, like, I know you've talked about like journaling and stuff, and I know you always are looking for your notebook, but have you tried drawing it down? Like when you wake up, like if it's fresh or you're capable of remembering it?
Not lately. I used to, like a long time ago.
Everyone's always telling me that I need to keep a journal. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I've been told this my whole life. Like, you need to keep a journal. I've got a gazillion of them. I even keep them next to my bed. I don't know why I do. I think it's because the one or two times I've tried to journal, it doesn't feel like those experiences you hear people talk about, like David Adair, right? Who wrote all of the math for the first time ever and that we can remember for like the rockets. Like, I feel like it's very forced. I don't feel like I'm doing this like auto writing. It feels
See,
like the consciousness is still there.
Jen commented that she's seeing things like that too. I'm like, I just commented, it's very cool. But yeah, she's seeing things like that. She's channeling in her higher divinity into this waking world, right?
It rejected my comments. It's my freaking StreamYard.
Oh,
Dumb. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely am down to do a show with Connor, and I'm actually going to probably go ahead and say goodbye here in a few minutes. I'm feeling really sick, you guys. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's from all the stress I've been under, but I'm having a really hard time breathing right now. But I'm totally down to do a show with you and Connor and get into that more. That'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, I might do a show later on what I do. I'd like to get people that would want to do some stuff with me where I can try to look at their Akashic records through the sacred neutral point of view. Because I'm not trying to just do a reading just to validate myself. I don't know what's going to come through, but if I look at their Akashic record and the sacred neutral, I find it's like I'm allowing to get glimpses and their guides with my higher guides to relay it back.
Can
in
you look at
visual.
my record? Like, what do you need to look at? I don't know if you can do it like that or if you have to meditate first, but do you need information to look at my record?
I think we might have talked about that before. I think I picked up stuff on that before one time.
I can't remember.
So yeah, it's just interesting. Or fix people's energy, right? I can see where their energy, what's lacking, so their bodies ain't operating at full potential. How to move that around.
Yeah, my energy has been feeling really low lately, right from the heart. Thank you, Flex.
Mine's been right low since I've been spending more time on the other side, right? So when we go to like the other side in the next astral, like it's this is where a lot of portals are there that's connected to Earth, where the fairy realms are and the elves, right?
Mechanical elves or like elves? I've heard a lot about mechanical elves.
Well, there's mechanical elves too, yeah. Then there's what's the other elves? The dark elves. So they're all operating on the frequency out of ours, which is the next astral from here. But they have portals that connect to this realm. We can't just go and walk there. They'll open up a portal like in a side of a mountain or in a tree. Then that's how we can get there. Or they can come out there to greet us in this physical world that way. And some of them are walking among us now, right? But they just have their glamour on. So it's like a magical power. They look like a human.
Oh, man, what is that? I keep thinking Twilight. They talk about the glamour. That's what it was. I've been trying to remember it the whole show when you said it the first time. They talk about, or maybe it's True Blood, right? But you look like you come across one way, but it's totally all psionics. It's not what they really look like. They just want us to think that they look like a certain way.
Yeah, same as vampires, werewolves.
Well, I've heard that elves don't like us. I've heard a lot of the elves are evil and that they do not care for humans.
Well, that's partly true. Well, of course
they
don't. Look what we're doing. Well, we're doing a lot to the earth, right? They don't like it, and they manipulate us. Some of the elves are coming through to manipulate us because they they think it's funny, actually. You know what I mean? Like, but it's
Oh,
not
like a
all bad.
sadistic funny, like they're
Yeah, they can.
twisted.
Well, they'll use humans for their own need, right? If they can do some kind of connection with somebody, make them do something, and they kind of laugh about it, but they're like, "Well, fuck that guy. He's out there doing this, right?" Because we're doing things this world that they don't like.
I don't think it's even us that are doing it. Like, I think this is a theory I've been like kind of molding in my head, or mulling over in my head rather. Um, they talk about how Antarctica like flash froze suddenly, and they found things like woolly mammoths with the food content still frozen in the stomach, undigested, plants that are flash frozen alive. Like it happened so suddenly that they didn't even decompose. And they say that there's been like three of them. Well, if you do one more and you go full circle and it unfreezes, what is it like? And actually, I thought it more had to do with who was frozen down there. Like I was thinking of things like, um, cold as hell, right? Or it's a cold day in hell. Or they talk about like these reptilians that are in these caverns under there. We know that there was an obsession that the Nazis had with Antarctica, and they set up New Schwabenland, and they have like a military base under the ice. Sorry, my neighbor's out cutting trees right now. Only when I'm on doing a show are they ever out cutting the grass or the trees. I don't know if you can hear this. Anyways, I'm thinking it was Steven on BG Cast this week that I was on Tuesday night, and he said that there's these 6 spheres, like technology, they're frozen under the ice, and these spheres are capable of creating realities, and that this one family at the top of all the, the 1% at the top is this pincer family, and that they control this technology. And so that kind of like threw me. I guess there's images of these spheres. I keep having people send me like what look like gears in the sky. And one of the things I found was this statue, Jay, and I don't know where it's at. I'll send you a picture of it after the show. It's a statue. It's massive, and it looks like a globe, like with no ball in the middle, but like it's got like the outer rims. And I had this download the other night, and the first thing I thought when I saw that thing is A, it's a time machine, and B, it's conscious, right? So Mark doused it for me, and then Mark came on my show on Saturday night, and he said, yeah, it's totally conscious, and he said Russia's trying to activate it. He said that Putin has rebelled against the 1%. He's not interested in playing along anymore. He's not down for their agenda, and that's why they're going after Russia. But he said they're trying to activate this thing. So I'm like really interested to find out more.
Yes, yeah, that'd be interesting. No,
I'm
I
gonna
just gotta
have to
figure out what
say goodbye. I've got such a bad sinus headache coming on, and I'm really sorry. I know I'm kind of low energy right now. I just feel really sick.
Oh wait, no, I'm low energy today too, but I still felt like inclined to do a show because I want to try to get my stuff out there a little more. Like I don't know what to do with this seeing
Spheres of fears.
apparitions walking through my room and getting information coming into me later, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to activate that more because I think it's important stuff, or else it wouldn't be happening to me right now.
Yeah, I need some Flonase. What's the one that begins with an M? Mucinex. I need some Mucinex. I feel like I've been keep wiping my nose. I feel like I got a faucet on in my head. Like my that feeling when like you're really sick and your head's full of air, like in my sounds like all echoey in my ears. Like it feels like I'm in a cave yelling.
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
So I know I don't look sick, but I feel like crap.
Yeah.
I don't get sick very often anymore either, but like I said, I've been under a lot of stress lately, and so I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised I held up as long as I did. But even like my voice and stuff has been going. So
my goal is to try to get people to want to learn how to activate their body and everything.
Why don't you tell people about that, and then I'll tell them about my decode group, and then I'll say goodnight or goodbye, whatever time of day it is.
Yeah, no, I just want people to learn how to work with their own body easily to activate their DNA. They're remembering the ultimate blueprint design that we are not just weak humans, that we can do things with, even with the breathing, with the stuff to do. Like we don't breathe right on a day, and our breath is connected to our chi, which the chi is connected to our soul. We don't breathe right, so once we get our breathing patterns down, it sets a rhythm off in our body that activates us on another cellular level altogether. Like one exercise I come up with, I haven't did it in a while. It's hard at first to learn it. You breathe in for the count of 1, out for the count of 1. The next time 2,
Yeah.
next time 3. Do it up to 11, and do it to 11 3 times. This will cause a huge activation in when you do it.
I remember you made a video like that. Like it was like your qigong walking, but it was all about the breathing. Because I've never been good at the way when I run. I'm a terrible mouth breather, you guys. Like, like when I run, I know I don't breathe right. Like it takes me a good 10 minutes of running before I finally start breathing like in a natural rhythm. I used to almost pass out all the time when I would run in like track and school and stuff because I wasn't breathing right. Like I needed someone to run next to me with an oxygen tank.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
I'm a smoker, so that doesn't help.
If we're not breathing right, our body's always in a flight or flight mode, right? We're not. But it's the breath work with visualization, with the organ system, the meridians, sun energy, connecting to. It ain't just like qigong because I'm saying we're connecting to how I'm doing the working with the solar flares and the sun energy in our innate DNA smart body that's been with us through every incarnation here or elsewhere. So activating all these portals within ourselves brings us back to our own knowing, where we can access more of the supernatural within ourselves. Flick's left talking about water. That's right here what I got. Well, let's drink it now. One thing I've been doing is, well, there's yin yang water where you fill it with half cold water and half boiling water. It will balance your yin and yang energies because we're out of whack a lot. So what I've been doing now is I'll put the cold water half the cup first, and if it's a sunny day, I'll set my water in the sun to get charged by the sun energy for about an hour.
That's a good
And
idea.
I can put my intention into that. What do I want? Okay, I'm bringing sun energies, fill this water up with what I need for whatever healing I need, even if I'm sick or having a problem or sore. Okay, I'm bringing that energy in. Even I'm bringing energy from the universe and myself as well, right? I set in the sun to help charge whatever you want to call it, the cells in the water. Then I'll pour the other half the hot water in with it, then drink it. So I think we should do that like once a day.
Yeah, I think the sun's very purifying. Hey, Jason. Oh, a cannabis farmers market? That sounds freaking awesome. I would love to. Man, they got rid of Delta 8 in Alabama. Like we're going the opposite direction. We didn't even have real pot, and they got rid of the synthetics. So like overnight they wiped it all out of the state. I went to the gas station, they were just throwing it all away in the furnace. No, not really. They had to send it back. I couldn't fucking believe it.
I want to show you something before you go. Just hold on a sec.
Okay. I'm sorry, Jason. I know you're just hopping on. I'm really sick. I've been on for about an hour and 45 minutes. I'm just not doing good today. Oh, wow. It's a crystal skull.
Yeah.
Where did you get that at?
I can't remember where I got it, but I had this for like 3 years now. It was just sitting on my shelf. I forgot all about it. I just wanted to show you. I was like, you know what? That thing's been sitting there looking at me all day. So it's heavy.
Man, that's awesome. I used to collect skulls. That's freaking badass.
Probably about 20 pounds.
Yeah, I bet. It looks like you wouldn't want to drop it on your toe.
No, that would hurt. Yeah, it is pretty heavy. So I don't know what to do with that. If anyone ever wants to tell me.
I think there's memory in those crystals, like quartz and stuff. I'm convinced that there's memory stored in it that somehow can be extracted. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, and on another thing too, I don't know. We was talking about I'm staying away from like SSP stuff, but I used to remote view or bilocate view programs that were going on that other people were experiencing. But I'm going to do it and take it with a grain of salt because I had someone pay for my session with the ACIO. They want me on. They want to talk to me, so I don't know nothing about it. You know what? If someone, wanted to get that session for me, and they want to talk to me, I'm all good for that stuff. See what that's about.
You're gonna let us know when that is, right? So we can come and watch it when you find out the date. Okay, Jessica Morales, right? That's whose channel? Her and Peter the Insider.
Yeah,
that's awesome, Jay. Congratulations. That's a big deal.
It'd be interesting, you know what I mean? Even though that's not something I've been focusing on, but I'll just do it, right?
Mark's a good person to talk to if you want some information on that. I know I sent you the stuff that Anchor Haven sent me over. I know Jason's got some good references for that. Sorry, thank you, Jessica Morocco. I cannot keep the names right. You can tell I'm not feeling good today. Yes, Jessica Morocco. Thank you, Jason.
No, I'm gonna do
It's
it.
like
I'm
when I
always
was on with
interested.
Brad Olson and I said, instead of Forrestal, I said Forester, because I've been looking at like the ancient order of the Foresters. So yeah, that one was embarrassing. But yeah, thank you, Jason.
No, I'll
Yeah,
just do it and see.
Flix
You know
says
what I
your
mean?
skull's powerful too.
Who said that?
Flix said the skull is powerful, and my friend Jen's
Oh,
talking about a guy in Oklahoma that is an artifact guy that worked with. I remember Barry from Storage Wars, the guy with the glasses. I used to watch Storage Wars all the time.
yeah. I used to use the crystal skulls. She was saying about, or Fix Love was saying about the downloads. I used to put 2 different crystals in its eyes and put candles around it when I did the meditation.
Dan
I
Aykroyd
should get back
has,
to
I
that.
think he's the one that has the vodka where it's in a skull, maybe. I know that his vodka is washed over diamonds. Sorry, I love Dan Aykroyd. He's like one of my favorite actors. He showed it to you in Tulsa. That's cool. That's interesting. Your eyeball and your picture is kind of freaking me out, Jen. Had enough of eyeballs lately.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I want to say before I go is I am doing a decode group on the 16th. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. It's a 3-hour group. There's going to be plenty of time at the end for questions. It's a complete decode. I'm going to teach people how to completely decode the seals, how their contracts, light spectrum, who's operating in them. I'm going to take you through on Google Earth and show you how I remote view the energy. I'm going to show you how I do everything that I put together in a decode. It's a private group. It's going to be a small group. I'm thinking maybe 15 people. You get a recording of it afterward. It's $20. And it's going to be next Saturday. So if you're interested, you can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can message me I put a video up on my live section on YouTube yesterday advertising it. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know. Was there anything you wanted to throw in there, Jay, before I say goodbye?
Yeah, that's for anyone that watches this later. I know most people on here are pretty intuitive and healers themselves, but if anyone wants, I'll get back into doing sessions again. I haven't been doing them. Just I felt off about doing them for a while. But now I'm getting information that it's okay if I want to do a sacred neutral Akashic reading and pick up on, I don't know, it's weird. It's just stuff that comes in. It's just,
That's how my channels are too. They're really random.
yeah, it's just like the information I get. So I'm gonna call it 2nd and 3rd level realm magic information I can pick up for the person in the Akashic record, sacred neutral point of view. Because they usually freak me out because I'll tell people stuff and I'm like, it's just random. I think it don't mean anything, and it usually means a lot to them, right? Because I know
I
they'll
always
pick up on
get random
their
channelings too.
yeah. Use my I got like a guide that will connect to their guide and bring it back. And sometimes they tell me what they should be doing on themselves or picking up what state their body's in, what they need for healing, or all that stuff. So it's just different. I don't really know how to explain it. So
Yeah, and they can find you on YouTube, right? Under J SkyRunner.
yeah, there's a lot of videos on there where I just talk about everything we talked about now, except for I got new stuff to talk about now that we touched on a little bit tonight. With
Yeah, you have a
more of
lot
the
of content on there. I didn't even realize till I think it was about a month and a half ago I started going through all your content. I mean, you've been making videos for years.
well, the
Kind of
more
like
I'm
a
connecting
diary.
the more I'm connecting with Dreamtime Societies, the more information I'm gonna start putting out. So I've been talking about it a lot lately because I was into a while back getting information. Now it's come on 10 times fold again. Like I say, as soon as I lay down, I'm dreaming, but I get mind wiped a lot. But I got to try to remember who I'm meeting on the other side and what this information, how to bring this back. Like I said, we power the dream worlds. That's we're important souls higher than the angels, right? So we do got angels that are good and bad. We got ones that are part of the hierarchy that we think are good, which aren't good. We got the fallen ones that are teaching us ancient knowledge they don't want us to know, because then if they help us, we can not be controlled by these false gods. That's the kind of information I'm getting. Like working with Azazel and Raziel, Jophiam, and more.
Yeah, they're
Some
always
of them
like the longest names, aren't they?
yeah, some of them I don't know how to say them
It's
because I'm not studied on who they are. I just do like whatever. I see an energy picture of a sigil or a rune. It's almost like the angelic beings are giving runes to people. It's language, right? It's symbols language. Our language is wrong. Like you were talking earlier, etymology. Won't get into that, but AEIOU, IOU. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, really.
we're
Man, you know
we're
which one I was thinking
speaking.
about the other day? A pharmacy. Like they're farming a sea of people. And what do they have there on the door? Walk-ins. Walk-ins are welcome. I think they're saying something. I don't think they're talking about welcome on into the pharmacy. I think they're talking about walk-ins like intruding upon the body. So that was one
Yeah,
I
so,
had the other day.
like I weren't into runes before, but until I started seeing them and down channeling what they are. But I think we're given new runes now, and these are coming from, I think, angelic beings that are on our side. They're new runes connected with light language because we speak in not right language. You know what I mean? So some of this information can come in as in, um, I don't even want to call it light language. I don't, because that when I watch people doing light language, it's not quite what I'm doing. So I don't really want to call it that. I'm just going to call it, I don't know, maybe just energy tones. It was what I'm channeling after bringing up these sigils and runes. I'm not sure what they are, but I don't really want to call it light language. But it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think symbols are the universal language. Seems like we used to be a lot more able to communicate better through telepathy. And I don't know.
Well, that's
It
what,
seems to me like there's so much more room for miscommunication when you have to use words and you put one word behind the other.
well, I think more that we start activating ourselves and cleaning out our energy body and doing the self work, we are going to become more telepathic. Because we
Yeah,
were
I
telepathic.
definitely agree.
When one agent passed, we were telepathic, right? Before things got kind of taken down. We did shows. I'll let you get going because we did shows before we talked about how we had different histories of Earth, but people arguing over, and they all were kind of true and different takeovers all the time, right? Like said before the airplanes
Resets.
come here, Earth was already
Yeah.
here. There was already beings that were at war before, so there's no right or wrong. Just stay away from belief systems and try to work on yourself. The more you work on yourself, the more you'll get your own information from yourself and your own soul family and your guides. Because we are part of the angelic network as well, right? So we can
I
get the
like to think
information from them.
so.
Then again, sometimes we can't embody the angelic energies because our bodies are running low wattage and not energetically pure.
Yeah, I don't feel very energetic today.
No, I don't either. But the strongest message I'm getting is that don't be a mundane. Call it mundanes. I got that law. I've channeled that in 2011. Call it mundane people in the waking world. Just don't walk around suffering without purpose, right? Try working on things to find your own purpose, even though it's hard. Because I don't even know what my purpose is right now. It's just kind of weird. So
You heard it here, guys, first. If you're gonna suffer, suffer with purpose.
like Buddha
No.
said, we all come here to. Even Buddha said we all come here to suffer, right?
Yeah. Well, what did he know? No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you guys. I love you
Okay.
all. Thank you for joining us. Jay, it's been a long time. I enjoyed doing this with you and appreciate you making time for me today. I appreciate everybody who came and saw this. And for those who are coming from the future to watch this, is a little time capsule. Thanks for being here and listening to us too.
Now, I might come on later if people want to come on and ask questions. See what I can't get information for them. I want to test some stuff out. So just check my Facebook page in a couple hours, see if I have anything up.
Okay.
Facebook page
Yeah,
or YouTube.
I'll come and give you a listen
Hopefully,
while I'm laying in bed. Sounds
yeah,
good.
check. I mean, it's mean to say Facebook, but some of these are on it. Just check YouTube after, see if I'm gonna put a link up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind. I might try to do some things later just to see how that goes.
Sounds good. All right, you guys.
Okay.
We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, you guys. Have a good
Thanks for
weekend.
coming,
What's
people.
left of it. Bye, Jay.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.